When existential fires threaten a nation, what determines whether its people will burn to ash or emerge purified? This process operates as a form of alchemical faith. It is a social mechanism that takes the intense heat of a national trial and uses it as a spiritual purifier for the collective. In the 19th century, dissolve, citizens tend to retreat into private life, chasing material comfort and neglecting the public duties required to maintain democratic health. Historical crises disrupt that isolation. During the First Great Awakening, a fractured colonial populace found a shared theological vision. The revivals acted as a cultural melting pot, uniting disparate immigrant and native communities and replacing localized self-interest with a collective covenant against tyranny. National identity is forged in this fire. Existential threats provide the pressure required to compress isolated individuals into a unified public. Throughout history, American leaders have utilized the framework of divine providence to rally the public during periods of massive upheaval. To address the severe despair and economic stagnation of the Great Depression, Franklin D. Roosevelt deployed religious rhetoric to give the recovery a moral purpose, comparing the expulsion of corrupt bankers to driving the money changers from the temple. Later, Harry S. Truman elevated the Cold War from a military standoff to a spiritual battle. He framed the defense of American democracy as the protection of human rights inherent to those created in the image of God. Dwight D. Eisenhower continued this doctrine, establishing Judeo-Christian values as the primary contrast to atheistic communism, warning that the enemies of faith knew no God but force. Political authority in total crisis often seeks divine legitimation to mobilize the public. This strategy connects national survival to a higher purpose, reaching beyond the limits of standard legislative or military appeals. Moving from the halls of presidential power down to the psychological reality of the individual citizen, we see similar mechanics at work when a person faces private trauma. Psychologists define resilience as the ability to press on amidst adversity without being diminished by it. Viewed through a theological lens, suffering is understood as a pathway to endurance rather than a permanent dead end. The gospel provides a long-view perspective, asserting that current trials are part of a larger plan, shifting control away from immediate threats. True spiritual resilience rejects self-reliance, depending on a network of community support where burdens are shared collectively. Applying this theological perspective transforms individual trauma and scars into vital signposts, guiding the entire community towards survival. These abstract mechanics take on acute reality in 2026, as economic hardship and social fracturing threaten local stability. Neighborhoods today face severe weather, local financial struggles, and deep epidemics of isolation. Immediate faith-based responses, like clearing storm debris, organizing food drives, or repairing damaged homes, actively dismantle the individualism Toxel feared. The face-to-face support network found in local congregations overcomes the isolation of modern secularism, providing a safety net the state cannot replicate. The macro security of the United States does not rest entirely on federal policies. It is dependent on this micro-level, localized alchemy of faith. If we strip away GDP metrics and military assets, we evaluate the true wealth of a nation by examining its underlying civic foundation. Following the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant looked past the literal wealth found in the sterile mountains of Western metals. He argued that national restoration depended on a spiritual unity to address the poverty and scars of 10 states in ruin. This chart compares the religious attendance and devotion of Western wealthy democracies. It shows the United States maintaining an exceptionally high level of religious devotion compared to other modern nations, proving that faith remains a robust pillar of the American experience. This devotion fuels America's civil religion, a willed, continuous affirmation that human rights are endowed directly by a creator rather than granted by the state. This enduring spiritual commitment provides a social glue that persists even when political or economic systems face total upheaval. Generations of crisis have repeatedly refined the American spirit. Adversity acts as a filter, removing factional division and leaving a hardened, unified core. The hope anchored in the gospel provides a profound, enduring resilience, a roaring fire that worldly crises simply cannot extinguish. This historical legacy belongs to you. Your personal daily struggles and victories are critical chapters in this ongoing national narrative, proving that resilience is built one life at a time. Send in your comments, like and subscribe to Christ Channel for more powerful faith journeys.